Guru. Kill the guru.
Because if you don't sleep well, chances are the rest of your day is going to be messed up, and your blood sugar is going to be out, and then you're going to reach for certain. I wouldn't say there's certain bad foods out there. There are obviously foods that are less optimal for a lot of people.
Calorie dense, sort of lacking in micronutrient sort of foods.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, we could all do with a bit of junk food every now and then.
Right.
To be honest, it's
actually probably not a bad thing if you're under a lot of stress to have a whole bunch of calories in, right?
Absolutely, salt and sugar. And an athlete that I worked with, we found that because he was working on a pretty strict paleo diet, a Johnny Rockets burger and fries was actually the thing that gave her the best temperature and training ability to train really, really hard.
Right.
Now, there are certain implications with that. We don't want to recommend that to everybody, and that's where I think some people tend to read systems. Like, for example, when everybody first started reading the Ray Peat, the number one thing that they thought they could eat shitloads of ice cream. Well, that's going to mess you up.
Yeah.
And so you have to put it all into context. And context means put it into the subjectivism of the person that you're dealing with and who you are. And that's why you'd always come back to those basic questions. And getting sleep right. In fact, well, like you say, if you've been sleep deprived, supporting the adrenals and thyroid with salt, sugar, a bit of fat, some carbohydrates is probably the best thing that you can do to get you through the day, right?
It sounds to me like you're saying, that there are occasions when health foods, what people think are health foods, may be not optimal for an individual, and where more processed foods might be better for the individual.
It is. It's very subjective, and I think there are very different markers that you would want to look at. But when somebody's stressed out, there's nothing wrong with giving them good anti-stress nutrients, and I think salt is one of those for sure. You can't regulate your blood sugar levels. Giving you fat, proteins, and carbohydrates that are going to create energy. That's what people need when they're stressed out. They don't want to be starving themselves, pushing them into low blood sugar levels, creating an adrenaline and a high cortisol response, which is going to liberate some more energy for you, create more anxiety, and ultimately bring you crashing back down. And that's what a lot of people will do when they go into their yo-yo dieting. Or, for example, they've been a bit hedonistic and maybe done a bit too much, and their first thing, the reaction is to go all ascetic monk and not eat anything, and they kind of go in and out of the yo-yoing. So nutrition is quite subjective, and even when I coach with someone else, to see somebody else's approach of keeping me in check was a really positive thing. But all the things that I've used, I've found sugar has been really helpful for me. I think eating more on a regular basis has been really part of getting myself out of a very bad place. And body temperature is key. You can do as many blood tests as you want, but I think if you look at the books by Starr and who's written substantially on the thyroid.
Right. He wrote a book called Hypothyroidism, didn't he?
Very good book, and it's been quite nice to read on from Ray Peat and Broda Barnes into that. I think one of the better ones out there on the thyroid out there. And there's a Barry Durant one as well, which is the English guy's one, which touches more on DHEA and stuff like that. But I think I don't think if you look at like that those books alone, you don't get much. I think Ray Peat, his concepts of using those foods for creating like a regenerative energy, raising the biological wholeness is very important. If you get someone who's in that quagmire of shitty energy, poor movement, poor sleep, start to give them what the body needs, you see some great things. You see people getting very happy, and you see the skin getting better. You see that glint coming back to their eyes and their verve for life. But you might only use part of that for a short period of time,
right? And
then you might go around adjusting it.
Guru. Kill the guru.